7 toxic effects of negative self-talk and how to overcome them. Negativity's always been the easiest way to drag down yourself and navigate you in the wrong direction. This can be due to external influence, which could have you down bad and needing the right stimulation to set yourself on the right path. However, negativity is an easy challenge to face, especially when it's coming from outside. Well, not that it's easy per se, it's just that with the right stimulation, you can be fine once again. The type of negativity that we deem as bad is when the negativity is influenced from inside of ourselves through negative thoughts and self-talk. When this happens, we find ourselves at a low point, and we need that extra stimulation to get ourselves back on track. So what are the toxic effects of negative self-talk? And how do we overcome them when we're faced with such situations? This is the focus of this video, as we intend to elaborate on these points and help you see why you need to avoid every ounce of negative self-talk. However, before we get into the nitty-gritty of this video, why don't you subscribe to our Decode Psychology YouTube to enjoy more awesome content? So I'm sure you've subscribed to our channel as we try to dissect the toxic impact of negative self-talk in this video. So you might want to ask yourself these questions. Am I in any way responsible for the negativity I feel? Do I do negative self-talk without even being aware? If you're unsure about the answers to this question, then this video is for you. You get understimulated. One of the toxic effects of negative self-talk is the crippling effect on your psyche, thereby leading you to having an unproductive life or day. This is one of the most rampant effects, as you would see yourself in your lowest state, as you try to struggle out of self-loathing. For me, when this happens, you need to convince yourself that you're not meant to be this low. Sure enough, the energy wouldn't materialize out of anything, but you have to realize that you have a role to play in upturning its effects. Lack of focus. Everybody had a bad day, and you just find out that it's very tough to focus on anything. Yes, we all have these types of days, and this might be due to some previous negative self-talk we've involved ourselves in during the day or on a prior occasion. See, the thing here is that you would almost feel helpless, and introducing more negative self-talk will get you out of that mood or feeling. So you should change the procedure and start with some positive self-talk to fuel your focus. Lack of appetite or undereating. For most people, when they notice that they aren't properly eating, they conclude that it must be due to some biological issues. Sure, this may be true for some, but you have to know that negative self-talk also causes loss of appetite, and that can be an underlying factor. When a case like this occurs, you should consult an expert to confirm if it isn't any underlying effects. If you come out clean, you need to change that negative to a positive self-talk program. Bad sleeping pattern. If you're having issues with sleeping, then you should know that this may be as a result of negative self-talk, or to be factual, some underlying effects. However, the reason negative self-talk can affect your sleep pattern is that you now worry so much that your brain is working overtime to find a solution. So that you know in such cases, you aren't coming out with a solution, or you get a solution and then break it down before applying it. This is why positive self-talk can replace the stress and help you understand that you can win in whatever situation challenges you. You become self-aware of the negativity. Negativity is one psychological effect that we can determine without any clinical analysis. This is because our whole being understands the mood and why we aren't feeling better. For those who feel this way, the best thing to do is change that negative self-talk to positivity. And when you notice the change, shift the gear and push for more positivity. Depression. When you're depressed, one thing to check for is any sign of negative self-talk that might be holding you back. This toxic trait is one of the challenges that doesn't allow us to be free and wants to subject us to that crippling effect called depression. When you feel this way, try to get around friends or undertake activities that are positive, and you'll see your mood lifted. Self-doubt. For me, I think one of the agents of negative self-talk is self-doubt, and the chokehold this can have over our life can be quite dangerous. It stops us from reaching our desired peak, hence crippling our growth. Whenever you feel this way, it's time to undertake that task, and if you fail, you try again. Don't give up and keep pushing until you win. Now that you know the adverse effects of negative self-talk, it is imperative to distance yourself from such a thought process and build on positivity. This is the fuel you would need to run through life without being pulled back by yourself. So, we're here at the end of this video. We hope we've impacted you enough. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, Decode Psychology, to get more actionable tips to help you become a better version of yourself. Until we meet again, Cheerio.